Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Kunja Bihari
Shri Chanda Ballabha Girivardhari Shri Chanda Ballabha Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Praja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Praja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Praja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya So we're reading today from the Srimad-bhagavatam 8th Canto, Chapter 7, texts 34 and 35. 34 doesn't have a purport. And the chapter is called Lord Shiva saves the universe by drinking poison. Okay? Tatasya te sad asato parata parasya Dhanja swarupa gamane prabhavanti bhumna Pramadaya kim uta sangstavane vayunte Tatsarga sarga vishaya api shakti matram Tatashyate sad asato parata parasya Nanja swarupa kamani prabhavanti bhumna Pramadaya king uta sangstavane vayantu Tatsarga sarga vishaya api shakti matram Tatashyate sad asato parata parasya Nanjasvarupa gamane prabhavanti bhumna Pramadaya kim uta sangstavane vayantu Tatsarga sarga vishaya api shakti matram Tatashyate sad asato parata parasya Nanja swarupa kamane prabhavanti bhumna Pramadaya kim uta sangstavane vayantu Tatsarga sarga vishaya api shakti matram Tatashyate sad asato parata parasya Nanja swarupa gamane prabhavanti bhumna Pramadaya kim atu sangstavane vayantu Tatsarga sarga vishaya api shakti matram Tatashyate sad asato parata parasya Nanjasvarupa gamane prabhavanti bhumna Pramadaya kim utu sangstavane vayantu Tatsarga sarga vishaya api shakti matram Word for word. Tat, therefore. Tasya, of that. Te, of your lordship. Sat asato, of the living entities, moving and non-moving. Parataha, transcendentally situated. Parasha, very difficult to understand. Na, nor. Anjanaha, as it is. Swarupa gamane, to approach your reality. Bhavanti, and then prabhavanti. It is possible. Bhumnaha, O Great One. Brahma Adayaha, even such persons as Lord Brahma. Kim Uta, what to speak of others. Sangstavane, in offering prayers. Vayam tu, as far as we are concerned. Tat, of you. Sarga Vishayaha, creations of the creation. Api, although. Shakti Matram, to our ability. And these are still demigods that are still praying to Lord Shiva here. Even personalities like Lord Brahma and other demigods cannot understand your position, for you are beyond the moving and non-moving creation. Since no one can understand you in truth, how can one offer you prayers? It is impossible. As far as we are concerned, we are creatures of Lord Brahma's creation. Under the circumstances, therefore, we cannot offer you adequate prayers, but as far as our ability allows, we have expressed our feelings. Repeat after me. Even personalities like Lord Brahma and other demigods cannot understand your position. For you are beyond the moving and non-moving creation. Since no one can understand you in truth, how can one offer you prayers? It is impossible. As far as we are concerned, we are creatures of Lord Brahma's creation. Under the circumstances, therefore, we cannot offer you adequate prayers. But as far as our ability allows, we have expressed our feelings. Okay, and then I'll just read the translation and then the short purport, 35, text 35. Translation: O greatest of rulers, your actual identity is impossible for us to understand. As far as we can see, your presence brings flourishing happiness to everyone. Beyond this, no one can appreciate your activities. We can see this much and nothing more. Purport. When the demigods offered these prayers to the Lord Shiva, their inner purpose was to please him so that he would rectify the disturbing situation created by the hala poison. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse 20, Kamaishtaista hrityajnana prapajante nidevataha. When one worships the demigods, this is certainly because of deep-rooted desires he wants fulfilled by the mercy of those demigods. People are generally attached to the worship of demigods or for some motive. People are generally attached to the worship of demigods for some motive. So, Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jana Jana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. So, the demigods are all offering Lord Shiva these prayers, and glorifying him. They haven't actually asked him what they have actually wanted him to do, which is to save them from this poison. But of course he understands what's going on. This poison is going, it's described as going to go all over the universe. It'll destroy everything. It'll kill everyone. So they're asking him they're trying to please him so that he'll do something to protect them, protect the universe. And Srila Prabhupada was quoting this verse from the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse 20. So, yes, it's a fact that most demigod worship is a very, in Vedic culture, it's very common. We, of course, are taught not to worship the demigods, but in Vedic culture, most people probably did. And the reason for worshiping the demigods is to get some kind of material benediction. They're empowered by Krishna to give different kinds of benedictions. If you want, I don't really remember the specifics, but in one series of verses in the second canto, Srimad-bhagavatam, there are several instances. If you want this, then you worship this demigod. If you want that, you worship that demigod. Several like that. But in the end, what Krishna says, what's the word? Akama sarvakama va moksha kama udaradi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham puram. And if you have akama, if you have no material desires at all, pure devotee, or akama sarvakama, or if you have all material desires, you're completely filled with all kinds of material desires, kama sarvakama, moksha kama, even if you desire liberation from this material entanglement, whatever you desire, you should worship Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna very much discourages actually the worship of the demigods, because whatever benedictions that the demigods can give, they have gotten that ability to give that. They've been empowered to give those benedictions by Lord Krishna. So why not go to the boss? Go to the master, Lord Krishna, who has given them the ability. What to speak that Lord Krishna has clearly said that those who worship the demigods are less intelligent. So you may have someone who's very smart in, ordinary terms, academically and so on, and he's got a bunch of big degrees in university and so many things. But he's chosen to worship the demigods and to strive for getting certain kinds of material gains, and if that's a part of his life, or an important part of his life, then in that case, he's not very intelligent. He's considered unintelligent because the ability for the demigods to give anything comes from Krishna. So better worship Krishna directly. Of course, the demigods, they're all afraid for their own sake, for sure. If that poison goes everywhere, it'll kill them, it'll kill everyone else too. So they're also trying to save the universe. So they're praying to the Lord Shiva in this way. It's still for a material reason, but it's not totally a selfish material reason. And although you see how difficult it must have been for the people in Vedic culture who mostly had material desires. At any one time, most people in the world will have material desires. Most people in the world will not be devotees of Krishna at any one time in world history. Because we're here because we're here in the first place because of all so many material desires. But but the Vedas clearly state that the purpose of human form of life is. And Lord Krishna says that the demigod worship, you're very unintelligent if you become attached to this demigod worship. And then there's and in that verse I quoted, Kama Sarva Kama Vama Kama Udarati. So that verse says, so you want material desires, you want liberation, anything you want, you worship Krishna. And there's a very important verse in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Anyavilasita Shunyam Jnana Karma Janavritam Manakul Yena Krishnanushilanam Bhaktir Uttama. It means this is the definition of pure devotional service. And of course we're trying to engage in pure devotional service. So this is very important for us. Pure devotional service means that your activities are not being done for fruitive results, like demigod worship, for example. They're not being done towards getting some kind of impersonal liberation, moksha kama, sarva kama or moksha kama. Your results of your activities are not for those, and what you're actually doing, pure devotional service, is you're engaging fully in the Lord's service, doing devotional service that, of course, Lord Krishna would consider to be devotional service, something that will be pleasing to Him. It's not that we just, devotional service is not devotional service. For it to be real devotional service, then it has to be something that Lord Krishna will be pleased with. If we just do some nonsense activities and say, okay, this is my service for today, but what if Krishna doesn't want it, especially if you're doing something that Krishna doesn't want you to do, then it's useless. So we want to engage we're striving to engage in pure devotional service. No karma. The goal is not trying to make arrangements for future happiness now or in the future in the material world. So no material goals. We're not interested in impersonal liberation, and if we've decided that we simply want to engage 100% in Krishna's service, that's pure devotional service. Srila Prabhupada also, that's actually also the definition of a sadhu. Sadhu doesn't mean just some person dressed in rags with a long beard sitting out in the waiting for somebody to give him some chapatis or something. That doesn't make a sadhu. You see these things, that's not a sadhu. They may be sadhus there, but that doesn't make one a sadhu. Sadhu basically means who's actually on the path of pure devotional service, who's completely convinced. Srila says a sadhu means one who's completely convinced that by worshiping Lord Krishna is the very best thing I can do for my life. If I do that, then that's the only thing that will actually satisfy me. A sadhu is one who's not interested in personal liberation. He's not interested in going to the heavenly planets or getting some kind of meditation to enjoy on this planet. He's not interested in those things. Sadhu means one who's dedicated his life to the devotional service of the Lord. So of course we are trying to be sadhus. And then the same principles also there. There's we have Shishi Gaurdadai, Shishi Radha Brajamihari, Jagannath, Balaram, Lady Subhadra, Lord Shigade, Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai. We have, we've been given 3 descriptions of 3 different kinds or 3 different levels of devotee: a first-class devotee, second-class devotee, third-class devotee. So we take up Krishna consciousness. We start off as, third class. Third class means we don't really have any faith, or hardly any faith, maybe a little faith to check out a Hare Krishna temple or something, but we don't really have any faith in the process because we don't know anything about the process of Krishna consciousness. So we have very, very little of any faith. We're basically completely in materialistic consciousness, but we've become a little bit attracted, and we're trying to get off the material platform and get onto the spiritual platform. That's third class level. And if someone comes with strong arguments and starts preaching to us about something, against Krishna consciousness, we can be very easily swayed away from the path. Then, second-class devotee. Second-class devotee is very important to come to this second-class platform as quickly as possible. So, second-class devotee means that by that time we have strong faith in the process. We're convinced of the process. We may not be perfect at following it, but we're convinced that following this process of Krishna consciousness is the very best thing I can do in my life. Second-class devotee means sadhu. Actually, Srila Prabhupada says second-class devotee means pure devotee. Now, there's pure devotees like Srila Prabhupada who are eternally liberated, who are fully liberated like that. And then there are pure devotees who are those who are strictly on the path of Krishna consciousness, and striving through their words and through their activities to become fully Krishna conscious devotees. But this is second class. Second class devotees make some distinctions too, and these distinctions are important. The third class devotee doesn't know anything. It's just trying to. Actually, Srila Prabhupada says that the third class devotee is not really considered to be devotee to Vaishnava anyway, but the higher, more elevated devotees say, okay, no, we're going to say third class devotee, not very advanced, just trying to get their foot. Take a step into Krishna consciousness, because he says devotees. One of the qualifications of a devotee is that you don't associate with non-devotees. So someone is not really practicing Krishna consciousness, just trying to, it's hardly been able to do anything. Then third class devotee basically means not devotee, but there's called third class devotees, and in that way the second class and first class devotees can associate, give their association to help them become Krishna conscious. See, so second class devotee has to make distinctions now, and it means you have to make the distinction. There's the Supreme Lord. There's the devotee, there's the innocent, right? And there's the atheist, the non-devotee. Okay, so, and it's very important to be able to make those distinctions because, first of all, if we don't, because one of the qualifications of being if we want to become Krishna conscious, we're reading the other day in the Nectar of Instruction, one of the better example than that is we have our 10 offenses against chanting. So first offense to blaspheme the devotees of the Lord who dedicated their lives to the propagation of the holy names of the Lord. So we can, if we cannot distinguish between a devotee and a non-devotee, then how are we going to avoid offending the devotees? We at least have to understand, here's a devotee, here's a non-devotee, right? And it's also we're also recommended, if we want to become Krishna conscious, that we avoid the association of non-devotees. So again, we have to be able to distinguish between who's a devotee, who's not a devotee, right? And of course, if someone is just an atheist, has demoniac nature, they have nothing all good to offer, but they certainly can give something to help, to hurt, not to help, but to hurt the aspiring devotee. So the second-class devotee has to know who to identify such persons and avoid that kind of association. So in that way, one has to, if one wants to advance in spiritual life, then one has to be able to distinguish between the Lord, the devotee, the innocent, and the atheist. So this is, and then the first class devotee, one who's completely liberated, doesn't really have to follow all those distinctions, because they only see the Lord's devotional service, and they actually feel that everyone's engaging in devotional service. It's a whole other consciousness that we cannot. Well, I cannot. I won't say we, because I don't know anyone's status there. But I cannot fully conceive of that, being able to be on that level. But but even a pure devotee, like Srila Prabhupada, who certainly saw no distinction between, when you're on that level, you see no real distinction between devotee and demon, atheist, anyone else, because you're just seeing Krishna, and you're seeing everyone as servant of Krishna. That's a very elevated level. But such a devotee, when he appears here and performing the function of an acharya, such a devotee, for our sake, for the sake of preaching, for the sake of teaching us, he has to make those kind of distinctions. And even, Srila Prabhupada says, even when we who are practicing Krishna consciousness now, when we become pure devotees, 100% pure devotees, still is our duty, is our responsibility to still act as Srila Prabhupada said, act as neophyte. Neophyte me in the sense of that I'm still struggling to become Krishna conscious. We have to keep practicing Krishna consciousness, even if we're already perfected. Why? Because such a pure devotee, if someone like that is here, and they're acting 100% on the pure devotional, the topmost level, then they can't preach. And their example will not be something that the people can follow. So if we become fully Krishna conscious, then it means that we don't say, okay, now I've become Krishna conscious, I'm perfected, I got it down now, so now I can do whatever I want to do, because I'm already a pure devotee of Krishna. See? But if we're thinking like that, obviously we're not pure devotees of Krishna. And if we are pure devotees of Krishna, liberated souls, then we still have to, for the sake of the people in general, as long as we're in the material world, we need to show the practice, demonstrate how to practice engaging in Krishna conscious activities. So we can never say, okay, when I become a pure devotee of Krishna, I don't have to bother just chanting all these 16 rounds and these regular principles and all this stuff. No, we especially have to do it then, because otherwise people who see, they say, okay, this is what it means to practice Krishna consciousness. So we have to become Krishna conscious, and if we're completely pure Krishna consciousness, still we have to continue to show that example for the people in general. Preach and show the example. And if we're preaching and we're not showing the example, then of course our preaching is useless. If we're not living according to what we're teaching. Like if you trying to teach someone to stop eating candy or something, it's not good for them, and they're diabetic or something. You try to teach them that stop eating, don't eat candy, but you're going there and you're eating candy and telling them, hey, you shouldn't be eating candy. Well, I can do it, but you shouldn't be doing it. You're preaching or you're teaching. Your instructions will have no meaning. They won't take it seriously. So people become Krishna conscious. We're telling them to become Krishna conscious. We have to be completely absorbed in the path ourselves. We have to be 100% free from every material desire or every material, we have to be 100% purely liberated, but we need to be convinced of the path of Krishna consciousness. Anyway, these are a couple of points. Any questions, comments?
In Srimad-bhagavatam, we also see that in ancient times, many people, they have it very clear to what is ultimate control. That's why so many people worship the demigods, etc. Because it wasn't very clear for many people. It's like nowadays, we have the story of maybe Muni that he was before to go and find out who the ultimate.
Yes.
So many people, pious ordinary people, generally they have an impersonal understanding of God. Not because they are philosophers, because that's as far as they can go. Everybody knows they get a revelation. So in traditional Brahmavadi philosophy, we have this idea that the impersonal Brahman manifests in the world in different forms, and the different forms are the demigods. So by worshipping any demigod, ultimately we are worshipping the manifestation of the impersonal Brahman. So that's why even in Shankaracharya they have the Pancha system that they worship by kind of demigod, main demigod, English, etc. They are the ultimate manifestation of the impersonal Brahman. So people approach demigod with, you are a manifestation of that impersonal idea that yes, this is actually Brahman. They haven't decided, but most of them didn't have it very clear. Even Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I have come again because knowledge is lost. That's why I come. That I come to establish knowledge. Even I am again. So that's why so much demigod worship. Who is there?
Yes.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
So, what is actually the origin of Lord Shiva?
Lord Shiva came as Lord Brahma was creating different living entities. Lord Shiva, out of his anger. Right from there. Yeah. Yeah, he manifested like that. Yeah, that's a fact. And Lord Brahma also cannot understand how he himself creates the universe.
Just like Krishna manifests to any devotee, for example, I'm also being person. He becomes the son of Devaki, the son of Yashoda. That doesn't mean that Devaki and Yashoda are greater than him, but he manifests to them. So Shiva is greater than Brahma, but he manifests to Brahma. So Shiva is the controller of the mood of ignorance. So that's why he came out of the anger of Brahma. Rudra, destroying the universe.
Why did Brahma come in?
He has some problem with creation. I don't know
I don't recall exactly. Let's see if I can find out.
Okay.
And he was saying some problem. First, once he knows his daughters.
Oh, it was the four Kumaras.
Yeah.
Four Kumaras, some of his first offspring, and they.
How come are you doing Muslim Shiva Kumara?
Yeah, because the four Kumaras. You know who the four Kumaras are? Four Kumaras were some of the first living entities that were Lord Brahma created. So of course they're appearing at that point as little kids, but they decided these are these are not ordinary living beings. They're very very intelligent, and they decided, okay, we have decided that we're never going to grow up. We're never going to grow up. We're never going to get entangled in family life and so many things. We're just going to dedicate our life to knowledge. So of course Lord Brahma is trying to create his so many offspring who will help to populate the universe. And here are four sons right in the beginning, and they say, we're not going to do that. We decided we're going to just say children our whole life. And so they're still children as far as appearance. Very old. So that at that point he became very angry, and from his anger then of course Shiva comes out.
That was a state of anger.
Yeah.
And that Shiva voice is himself touching material nature.
Yes.
When he is not touching material nature, it's not wrong.
When Krishna was touched.
See, getting contact with material nature, he becomes intentional, because he suffers the transformation. That's Shiva. It's a nature. That's why Shiva has only his own part of his own category. He's neither a spirit soul nor vision.
Yeah, Shiva's hot one.
It's a mixture of both. It's a mixture of material nature and vision part. God category and material category. And he can add, he's prone to add in both ways, spiritually or in the most of
And you mentioned a specific name for the poison.
Hala hala.
What are the names?
Is there a definition?
I don't remember now, but I think I read it one time. How much? I don't remember the sense.
Well, if we don't find it here, I'll look it up. All I know is by the name, the specific definition of hala hala.
Yeah, I just want to know what the
But whatever it was enough to that would have, if it was not controlled, it would destroy the whole universe. You know that. H-A-L-A-H-A-L-A. Hala hala.
Poisons prepared from the root of the hala plant. So, in this material world, it's considered to be a plant. That's what the scientific.
So what is the hala plant? What do we know it as?
The daily poison, hala means daily poison prepared from the root of the hala plant. So, daily poison prepared from there. That's the name given to that plant in this world. So, you have a higher dimension for hala poison. It's not necessarily from a plant. It came out of the children. You have a poison that is from that plant.
Huh. Okay, I think we're at the end here, unfortunately. So we'll continue tomorrow with text number 36. Well, maybe a few verses because some of these don't have purports. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.